Alright, we're back for week 4, round 1 of season 22, Cosmic Crucible. As you can see, I unfortunately lost this round. I dropped 2, my opponent dropped 1. The Symbiote Annihilus defense was a little trickier than I expected, plus I seem to have missed a few things in Annihilus's kit that made my counter worse than I thought, and that caused me to reshuffle my plan around, and then I took one more attack that I'm a little annoyed that it didn't work, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But otherwise, you know, at least we learned something, and DNA is, I think, number 2 right now anyway, so hopefully we don't lose too many points. So yeah, let's see what worked and what didn't. Starting with a pretty easy one, this is Immortal Weapon with Sus. Pretty cheap room to take care of these days, especially now that Old Man Logan prevents the charges on Iron Fist, so I don't really recommend running this one because, you know, other than Old Man Logan, none of these other pieces are contested really or used for much else, maybe Songbird sometimes, but it's basically free. So, you know, you basically abuse Super Skrull for extra speed on Old Man Logan because he gets hit, Daken gets to go really fast because of the stealth, and Black Knight basically solos Super Skrull, so you never have to worry about him. So the good thing with Daken here is he just puts out slows unless someone resists. How big is she? Let's see. Yeah, 5 diamonds. So let's see. So her resistance is 163. And then Daken is focus 150 even as a skirmisher. So yeah, he tends to like miss people now and then. Not a big deal though, because you don't need to stun Iron Fist anymore because he doesn't have charges, so you can just stun her, and this is even safer now. Yeah, Sus usually takes 2 turns and tends to die after this attack. It really depends on the size of the Super Skrull and all that stuff, but he is not going to have a good time right now. And then we go into Songbird, who is really fast, but somehow hasn't taken a turn yet. But yeah, she's honestly, she's just here to just give another fast assist to Old Man Logan, and she does good damage, and she puts out ISOs. You could replace her with a lot of different things though. But yeah, see, you've gotten over to Old Man Logan ultimate before a single one of them takes a turn. Then Ares gets to go as well, and he just ability blocks anyone, so nobody's really going to do anything other than basics. The Steel Serpent did also do a basic, so that added a little bit of efficiency, but not the end of the world really. He's going to die as well, and then, I mean, obviously this is over. I've shown this fight a couple times, but it's been a while. I think now that Old Man Logan prevents the charges, unless you need him somewhere else versus like a Starjammers, this is a very cheap defense to deal with, and don't recommend it anymore, but it's, you know, it's better than an empty room. Okay, so stage 2, I'm not going to show this. I've shown it more than enough times. It's Yo-Yo takes a turn, Damon takes a turn, and that's it. And it also scales to almost max diamonds. I think I've done one that was at max diamonds and it looked close, but was still fine. So it's whatever. Moving on to stage 3. So this is a Phoenix Force with Breaker and Minerva. So nothing that Daring Warriors can't handle. You're guaranteed to lose Mummy here just because he's here to make sure nothing crazy happens. I don't know if I trust eating a raw Magneto ultimate after getting diamonds on Eclipse and Thrasher, but I don't want to find out either, so I kind of accept that. I'm just going to lose a little bit of efficiency on him dying because it still hurts quite a bit. Then Breaker unfortunately went into this clump, because if he hadn't, I think Mummy would have survived, but Breaker is a very interesting choice here, because if the turn order plays out the way it just did, which is Magneto goes first, he will definitely remove taunt from anyone. Then Breaker is free to hit anywhere, and he could just ability block trauma 3 people, and that's pretty bad. So this is definitely a good defense, but Daring Warriors doesn't really have any problems handling it. Especially now with the extra diamonds. Actually I have the diamonds here. So Minerva's still doing weird stuff, I'm guessing because of the blind, I don't know. But 5 diamond Thrasher does pretty good things. We also have vulnerables on Omega Red, which is great. and Speedball is now going to kill him. Also with Magneto adjacent, he also died, so there's no threats basically left at this point. Even if Minerva somehow takes a turn, which I think she does. Yeah, I also don't know why she's using the ultimate here, because someone has died on her side. So maybe they fix that so that she is more predictable, I guess. But if she had ulted on her first turn, which she basicked for whatever reason, she would be. Well, she's not going to bring anyone back here anyway because of Eclipse. But it's just weird. I don't understand what the logic is behind her abilities. The blind, I mean, I think Breaker only does a basic on his second turn because he's meant to get energy from Omen for his ultimate to be quick, but, you know, it's not unavoidable. And then Eclipse ultimate hits like a truck now, so I did pause here after she came up so I could minimize efficiency. As you can see, my team is basically 100%. So, yeah, especially with the extra diamonds now from the leaderboard payout, Daring Warriors are really, I mean, they were already doing this well before, but they're even better now at handling Phoenix Force comps. I would still be careful of too many attacks that can't be blocked going into them ahead of time, because, you know, maybe Eclipse can handle it now, but if someone else dies before she can heal them, then you're still in trouble. But right now, they're still pretty good, and I really like them on offense because it allows me to have some different things on defense. Okay, so stage 4. So this one I'm actually a little bit annoyed about because in this setup, this is a 2-diamond Blue Marvel and a 3-diamond Big Time Spider-Man. And I tested this setup for survivability in war against a 5-diamond Big Time and 3-diamond Blue Marvel. And my Jeff never went... He was never at risk of dying. Like, he'd go into the yellow, maybe a Raider proc or two would bring him down a little bit more, but he was never in trouble, and that's also why Mr. Fantastic is here, to give him extra barrier to kind of guarantee that he's fine. So, you know, the whole concept here was I can kill the biggest threats before it's a problem, because I also set up an assist, Striker, Skirmisher, assist combo for Sentry as well, and the whole concept was like, I'll take a beating, but then the special from Thunderstrike would heal me up, and then the special from Mr. Fantastic would, you know, stun him if he's still alive, but it will also remove any debuffs from me. But as you already know, that just did not work. So, and I don't know why. I still don't know why. So here you can see my Jeff he still has a little bit of barrier, and this Blue Marvel goes and just obliterates my my Jeff, which I don't know why this guy hit so hard. The only thing I can think of is that because can you actually see it here? Let's see. No, it's not listed. So in Crucible, every room has a buff for the defensive side, which I think is 20% health and 10% damage. I guess that 10% damage is multiplicative, so it ends up being more than the extra diamond on defense and war, because in my mind what I was doing was working against a bigger team and somehow it failed against a smaller one, which is really bizarre to me. But anyway, the minute Jeff died here, I was kind of fucked because I was relying on him to pull everyone together and silence and all that stuff so I could kill them quickly. But that immediately fell apart. So here, the other thing I was worried about was I didn't want Emma to ability block basically anyone, because other than maybe Blastar, anyone here getting ability blocked is a bad time, because if he's ability blocked, he's not going to cleanse. If he's ability blocked, he's not going to heal everyone. Blastar, I mean, ideally he can barrier everyone. If he basicked, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Sentry would have gone by then, so not a big deal. But I decided to just to ability block her to avoid that. And then I did the Blastar special on Howard because I didn't want him to ability block me again. Now, the reason why I didn't ability block Mephisto is because he's guaranteed to take a turn since I lost Jeff. And if you ability block him, he's then going to use his empowered basic on someone and just outright kill them. I would rather he uses his empowered ultimate and, you know, gives me exhausted and some debuffs, but at least I'll be able to maybe recover. But it's not looking good since I lost Jeff. So yeah, see Mephisto does ultimate. So now they have a bunch of buffs, battlefield effect. I'm deeply in trouble. I did end up doing the Thunderstrike ultimate here, even though I wanted to do the special with the pull-in because it's going to decay all the buffs. So we do that here. I was hoping I would be able to kill Blue Marvel, barely didn't. And then, you know, he gets to heal up a bunch because of all the debuffs. My Mr. Fantastic also bled out, which I was surprised about. So, as you can see, not going very well. So, this is also not the team I was originally going to use. This I was going to take out with an Insidious 6 Sentry Cop, which would have been fine for this because they can just blow up Blue Marvel before he goes, and it's pretty safe. But I had to pivot, and you're going to see why in a little bit, because I had to use Insidious 6 somewhere else. And this made me take a, I guess, risky, but what I thought was also safe because I'd taken a lot of precautions, but it just wasn't enough. My sentry also died really late, so he also didn't do anything. He probably could have killed Mephisto and Emma here maybe, but yeah, really annoyed that this didn't work, not because anyone did anything wrong, but because I thought I did my due diligence to test against a worse version of this to make it safe, and it still blew up in my face. So I don't know, that's generally a problem with war testing. You know, the stats aren't the same, sometimes abilities aren't the same, so you know, at the end of the day, it's a risk I have to accept. I just thought I covered my bases, and clearly I didn't, so you know, hindsight 2020, but I should not have done this attack or found some other way to make Jeff survive, but I did not have anything that gives HP. I didn't have a Sus to bring here, I didn't have a Mephisto to bring to make him more durable. The Fortifier from Mr. Fantastic was all I did, and that seemed to be enough, but again, apparently not. Moving on to room 5, so this is Exalted with Shadow King. Shadow King is an interesting addition. I say interesting because it's definitely going to be more damage coming out of this team because they do, actually it's one fast ultimate because I think more specials first. But if you're going to do this comp, you always bring Captain Britain anyways, so Shadow King isn't like suddenly going to get ahead of anything and do anything bad to you, so he doesn't really change this matchup. Maybe makes it a little bit less efficient, but you'll see how it plays out now. Thanos was just because, I don't know, he's big, I don't know what else to bring. He's a stun as well, so he can kind of control Angel. Actually, can I do this before he dies? Okay, so let's look at this. So Morph, his special is guaranteed on Crucible defense to attack the target with the highest focus, which is always going to be Captain Britain. Oh, I guess it doesn't show here because he died, but or is about to die. But trust me, his focus is gigantic because while this character's health has above 50% gain damage and 1000% focus. So he will, if Captain Britain is on the field, he will always take the hit. I think the only alternative is maybe Gore, if you bring him instead of Lalandra plus Thanos, which is bad because he gets 250% extra focus per Annihilator ally and he has newer stats than Captain Britain, so I think he surpasses him. But yeah, I don't know why it wasn't showing the extra focus there, but Captain Britain will always eat that. Now, Storm Mighty goes. She does hit everyone with slows, and she stuns a bunch of people, but it doesn't really matter. The slow here doesn't come out in time to really change turn orders significantly. Because Odin still gets to go right now, and the fight is already over. So this is just a matter of, you know, not surviving, but you just let them take a bunch of turns. Your efficiency depends on what the targeting RNG is. So like them hitting into Odin there is good RNG for me because he will always heal everything back. Then Thanos is good here because he can stun Angel. Boom. So he's not doing his heal now if you hit him when he's done. So then you do Gladiator special. Also, there's energy. Why did I get... Oh yeah, there's energy flying around now because of Thanos and the room. And by the way, the room is fixed now, so you do get energy even if Thanos isn't here, as long as you hit someone with Exalted. The Odin swipes don't count because it's a passive, but any direct hits, so like right now, you should get a bunch of energy flying around. Yeah, see, that's way more energy than you would normally have flying around. So, room is definitely fixed. Lalandra is always good to survive because she can do her ultimate. It does some good damage, as you can see. And this Morph ultimate, I think, will kill most of them off. Ugh. Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, so this fight, it's not really that efficient. There's a lot of RNG with who gets killed, but you're never going to lose this because Odin swipes will just end it for you. You can see I have 3 characters of like 2 characters died. Captain Britain's gonna die no matter what, and Lalandra was just the one that got the short end of the stick there. But 3 characters alive, not the worst, and it takes this team out. So yeah, the buff doesn't really change anything about Odin doing this. All it did was make people pull their Lalandra or Starjammers to offense to basically do the same thing. So it pushed Fury out but brought Lalandra in because they made the battlefield effect prevention conditional, and that means there's a ways around the condition. And finally, stage 6. So this is where things went wrong. I already know how to fix this for next time. So I know how to, I'm going to say, guarantee that this is a one-shot. The reason why it wasn't this time, though, was some pretty unfortunate RNG, which is, this is the second time it happens to me. So I'm going to pivot to just doing something else to remove the RNG because I thought that was a fluke the first time, but then, you know, happening again so soon after is kind of frustrating. So, let's take a look. So, my Daring Warrior's Annihilus counter has Gwen instead of Professor X. Now, this defense here with the Symbiote 6 and Annihilus is really popular right now. You know, Thanos just... Actually, the positioning here is a little weird. You'd want to feed... Actually, let me see something. Maybe the positioning is fine. How does he give his energy out? Is it random or is it guaranteed? 1 ability energy for self and 1 ability energy for two random. Yeah, so technically you'd want Thanos sandwiched between 2 characters. Like Null is cosmic, and like yeah, you'd want him sandwiched. This trio should be slightly different, basically. But because there's a pre-taunt here compared to Daring Warriors, if you want to stop Annihilus from using his special turn 1. You have to bring Professor X to avoid the taunt so that Breaker can do his thing. So he still takes a lot of damage, and here's the problem. So my Breaker is a Raider and my Annihilus is a Striker. Because the reason why I can one-shot most Annihiluses or Annihili or whatever is because I get to do a lot of permanent damage to them, so they're guaranteed to die eventually. And what happens here is my Breaker does a lot of good damage, and it's a multi-hit. But he's the only one that ended up with no vulnerables. And right there, that's a disaster for me. Like, see, this guy's got 1, this guy's got 1, this guy's got 2. I know you can't crit, so that's not really a problem. Also, you can see everyone else got vulnerables as well, and that's because... This is a bit of a weird thing to talk about, actually. Let's see. So... Clear all barrier on all enemies. This action is what crit everyone else that he didn't do damage to. So a lot of abilities have like different checks that they do, and each one of those can cause an ISO Raider proc, which is why you see vulnerables on everyone. And this is why I'm just really frustrated that I got no vulnerables on Annihilus, because there's basically 1, 2... There's 3, I think. I don't think this counts, but there's basically 3 attempts or 3 checks on the character to get hit with vulnerables, and somehow he did not get any of them. So that is really bad for me, because as you can see, there's very little permanent damage done to him right now. Annihilus is meant to do a big chunk of that, and it's not going to happen. So Annihilus basic into my Shadow King. This guy's 1 diamond, right? Hang on. Is he? Oh, that's my one. Let's see. Yeah, he's 1 diamond, but he must have crit because look at that damage. It's so insane. So there's a bit of RNG here with who gets targeted, but my Shadow King is also not going to take a turn. So this is what I mean by I got hit with some really bad RNG, but there's no pre-taunt here, so you know I can't really control who gets hit. The best people to get hit would be Breaker, the minion, maybe Professor X. I think he's tankier, or even Annihilus, honestly. But anyway, so here I'm hoping there's a vulnerable on Annihilus, because if not, I'm just straight up doing less damage to him. And you can see I've hit him with an Annihilus basic and special. And I've basically done the same amount as he has with just a basic. And that is purely because of the vulnerables missing, and I rely on those to actually kill him. And I never got those, so that is bad. So this guy basically needs to be a skirmisher, is the answer. Because if I guarantee those 2 vulnerables on him, I can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to kill him. At least at 1 diamond. I don't know if this scales because I haven't run into any bigger ones here. But anyway, I also mistargeted because since he had no vulnerables, I needed to special into with Annihilus into Riot to just kill him. Like there was no reason to not target any one of these people with vulnerables. So I just let Riot take a free turn, which was dumb. So there's also a component of misplayed here for sure. But I was kind of really like, wow, where's my vulnerables? Now the other problem with this attack, and I did not realize this until after I did this, is, let's see if we can see this here. Annihilus, so abilities, what's on this passive? Enemies cannot mind control. I did not realize this is a thing. And the problem with Xavier's special, and I mean I did it here to heal up as well, but the problem with his special is it only does mind control damage. So when I do this, I heal up a little bit, that's cool. But I do literally nothing to Annihilus. And if I'm not doing damage to him, there's no point in bringing these characters. So that's another thing that needs to change in this attack, and that this guy, he just needs to basic. Because assuming my Breaker is a skirmisher, I'll have 2 vulnerables, one of them will be eaten up by Annihilus, and then Xavier can eat the second one and guarantee Xavier, in theory, when he goes, he's the one that actually kills the rod at this point, at least for 1 diamond in my testing. So we'll see if that is true when I do this for reals again, but in all the testing that I did in War at least, usually by the time I got to Xavier, he's the one that would kill the rod. But at this point, it's all kind of going downhill because you know, this guy's just way too healthy. Like if he hasn't lost his rod by now, he's never going to. So at this point, it's just a matter of I just need to kill as many of these people as possible to you know, make sure that I can clean up well. Here's the other thing, my what is it? My Darkstar is also a raider, and she also didn't get a vulnerable on this guy. So like I'm getting some really crazy RNG, and I know some people are gonna say, or maybe some people will say that, well, you know, you can't crit because Venom is here. That's true, but that has never stopped the raider proc vulnerables from showing up, because I mean you can see them here, right? Like there's nothing stopping me from getting vulnerables even if I don't crit with my ability. Somehow this Annihilus has managed to avoid every single vulnerable application from every raider that I have here, and it's pretty crazy. So let's see. So yeah, moving on. Boop. So I'm getting some pings. Boop, that's pretty good. I get a little bit of hope here. And the reason why it's a problem that Darkstar did not apply any vulnerables, and you'll see why in a sec, but yeah, at this point he's gotten back to his special, which sucks because it does a lot of damage. Here I just lost my rod, but you know, it doesn't kill me, so I get to my ultimate first, which is great. Again, I'm just doing less damage to this guy, because vulnerables, if folks didn't realize, oh, I can't blow up the UI anymore. Having a vulnerable on someone increases the damage they take by 10%. So even if you're not eating vulnerables, the fact that someone has a vulnerable means that they take more damage. And this guy here just never got a vulnerable. It's kind of baffling. You know, it's obviously it's all RNG, but I'm just surprised that this guy plus Darkstar never managed to get a vulnerable on an Nihilus. But yeah, at this point, I'm kind of screwed because he has his rod, I don't. He's gotten back to his ultimate, so it's basically GG. So yeah, some bad luck, but also some misplays from my end for sure, with my targeting for a Nihilus special, and then using Professor X special that needed to be a basic. And then I think this would have been fine. So I'm pretty confident I can one-tap these, you know, from now on, now that I've done it once and I realize what can go wrong so I can prevent it. But basically this cost me the match because I had leeway to drop one attack and this was it. But as you already know, I'm going to pull Insidious 6 to do the cleanup here, and then I didn't have my safe attack versus Blue Marvel, so then I dropped another one and that was it. But yeah, let's move on to the cleanup. Alright, and back to the cleanup. So yeah, if you have a solo Annihilus or you know, +1, or you know, you can usually clean them up with Insidious 6, but like I said before, the fact that I had to pull Insidious 6 because I don't really know what else is safe and I didn't want to risk it here, is that meant that I couldn't use my Insidious 6 comp here. Which, by the way, Big Time Spider-Man would enable that because I could get speed up and they would get slowed. Even though he would clear it, he would still have a couple of ticks or one tick with slow on, so he'd be, you know, he wouldn't be that fast. Which lets me get ahead of everyone and my entire team gets speed up and I get to go, and Sentry's doing assist and everything. But yeah, cascading effect. This misplay / bad RNG forced this here, which then caused the other drop, so that was kind of it. So otherwise, pretty standard cleanup here once it loads in. The reason why Insidious 6 are good is because they get a lot of evades, and his basic can be dodged, and that keeps his health regen in check. So, you know, do this on him first. We're just gonna ability block him. He shouldn't have anything up anyway, so it doesn't matter, I think. Oop. Yeah, he didn't have anything else up anyway, but if he had, let's say, his ultimate, then I would have been safe, essentially. Because, well, actually, maybe not. I wouldn't have been safe because the turn order would have been bad. So, for the ability block to stick, as you can see, the turn order would need to have been Superior Spider-Man and then Annihilus, but because speed bar is on the table here, that's not the case. So I guess, yeah, good thing I pulled the ultimate in the previous attack. Otherwise, it might have actually, it wouldn't have worked. I think Annihilus, come on, his ultimate cannot be dodged. Yeah, so I don't know if my team could eat an ultimate and survive, but I also don't want to find out. Anyway, Vulture goes, there goes the rod, so, you know, fight is immediately over. He also can rewind him. Hobgoblin is going to do terrible, terrible things to him. See, this is a 3 diamond Hobgoblin. I really want to get some diamonds for him, but the Radiant Orb gods have not blessed me. So, yeah, that was this round. GG to DNA. Some unfortunate misplays and bad luck. It also really made me miss Mephisto on offense because that would have also been a very good solution to that room. But you know, trying things on defense. But yeah, GG's. We lost this one, and not entirely sure how the next round's gonna go because it's already gotten weird. So we'll see you for that one next time.